Hi golfers, Nick here from Untitled Golf. It's Friday, so welcome to another lesson on golf tips. Today I'm down at American Golf, I'm down at the Aintree store, and I'm on the Trackman here. So I thought I'll do a video on the driver. We'll look at some data. So I get a lot of questions, especially with a stack and tilt golf swing, about the angle of attack. Should you hit down the driver, should you hit up? So I'm going to try and clarify that today. We're going to take a look at setup, tee height, and a little bit of technique as well. So I'll be using the Trackman just to sort of back up some data here. So first of all, I'd like to point out, just looking, I've mentioned this before, I'm going to put some data on the screen here, but the average PGA Tour player does hit down on the driver just over 1 degree down. So I've put the data up there, but their clubhead speeds something like 112, 113. So their clubhead speed's quite high, but they hit slightly down. Just fraction, like 1 degree, so it's hardly anything really. They're not excessively hitting down with the driver, but there is a correlation between accuracy and distance with, I think, the angle of attack. So the faster the clubhead speed, the more you can hit down and still get the distance. I think the PGA Tour players are looking for accuracy and a distance as a combination. If you look at the long drivers, it's very slightly different. They set up completely different. Obviously their objective is just to hit at least one ball out of 6 or however many shots they're hitting in the grid, and to hit it as far as they can. So the long drivers would be hitting up sometimes up to 10 degrees up, but their setup would be completely different as well. Their tee height would be different. But I'm looking at the PGA Tour players or the golfers that need some sort of degree of accuracy in their swing. So I tend to coach more of a level angle of attack. I wouldn't excessively try and get someone to excessively hit up or hit down. It does depend on the clubhead speed. So for a lot of golfers that I coach, slower swings, I would encourage them to hit slightly up, and we can do that via the setup. So one of the questions I get a lot of the time is, how can you hit up on the driver with a stack and tilt golf swing? So I'm just going to show you here. I've got 3 different tee heights here, but I've just put the middle one in the pink one. So I'm just going to set up normally. Obviously I've got the camera from this angle here, so I'm just going to show you from this sort of angle my normal setup. So I'll be playing the ball pretty much off my left heel, and then what I'll do from here is bump my hip forward and just create a sort of side tilt just away. So you can see here my side tilt here, and as I'm hitting the golf ball I'm going to try and maintain that side tilt through the ball. So if I was to set up, like I see a lot of golfers that are attempting sort of the stack and tilt setup, and they might set up a little bit too much like this, where they're leaning into the target, and then when they swing the head's sort of a bit too in front of the ball, and the likelihood from there would be to get quite steep. So let me just play my normal shot. So ball position, pretty much left heel. We create a slight side tilt here. So I've got an average tee height. This is about what I'd normally use. Okay, so not a bad shot there, first swing of the day. So looking at some data there, angle of attack 1.6 up. So I'll try and get around about level. Certainly don't try and hit down or try and hit up really. I'm trying to get quite a level angle of attack, so I'll be pretty happy with that 1.6 angle of attack. That gave me a 255 carry. The spin rate for me was a little bit too high, 2,800, which is probably why I didn't get quite the distance on that shot. So, same tee height again. This time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up this time, and instead of giving myself a side tilt, I'm going to just set up as I see a lot of golfers do that are attempting the stack and tilt swing, and they sort of almost lean into it. And I think that's where a lot of misconceptions come from, is when you're setting up, you're putting your weight forward. I'm putting my lower body weight forward, I'm not leaning the whole body. So let's see what happens when I lean the body. So same ball position, but I'm not going to have a side tilt here. Okay, so you can see the attack angle there. I tried to swing that the same really. Launch came down I think a little bit, but attack angle there you can see 1.8 down. So the carry distance dropped down a little bit. So that dropped down to 241. So obviously it does depend on the individual. That's the importance of getting a driver fitting, getting a coach to help you with that driver fitting as well. Like we use the Trackman here just to help the individuals try and get the most out of their technique. So let's see what happens if I use a bigger tee. This time This time I'm going to play the ball a bit further forward, I'm going to lean a bit further back, see if I can get this angle of attack a little bit higher. So now I'm going to have the ball sort of more off my big toe rather than my heel. And I'm going to just push my hip forward again, sort of lean back a little bit. I'm going to try and stay behind this one, see if I can hit up anymore. So we're looking at that last one, 1.8 down gave me a 241 carry. So ball a bit further forward, tee height higher. So a lot higher ball flight there. Attack angle 2.3 up, spin rate went up as well. So it's important to note here, obviously, it's getting the right angle attack, the right tee height, the right driver loft, the right shaft for the individual. So looking at, just going back to long drivers there, I said they can hit up almost up to 10 degrees up on their driver, but they'll be using like a 3 degree, 4 degree driver probably. If you look at the PGA Tour players, they're probably using more of an 8, 9 degree driver. So obviously their technique's slightly different. They can hit slightly down and still get the distance really. So let's see what happens when I use a white tee. So this is a smaller tee now. Now I'm going to do my sort of normal setup. So ball position, left heel, side tilt away, try and normal swing. See if there's any difference with this tee height here. Felt lower on the face. So club head speed was up there, but carry again wasn't quite up to 248, so it wasn't quite where I can get it to. So you can see there, attack angle was 0.8, so it's quite a level angle attack, which is what I try and promote. But the important thing to note there, it's not just about the angle attack, it's also where you strike it on the face. So can't quite see where it is, it looks a bit more bottom, it definitely felt more off the bottom, and that definitely launched a little bit lower. So when you're getting fitted for a driver, it's very important you get sort of the right tee height. So the main purpose of this video is really just to talk to you about the setup for the stack and tilt golf swing. And I would try and, if you can, experiment with different tee heights. If you can get on a Trackman, something like that, it's going to give you this data. It's so invaluable to get that information. So just to run through that again, ball position, left heel, I'm going to push my hip forward, that creates that side tilt, and then as I'm hitting the driver, I'm going to try and keep my head position pretty stable, but push my hips and rotate my lower body as I hit through. So as I'm hitting through here, I'm still creating that side tilt. So even though I've got my lower body weight forward, I'm still creating that side tilt, which can enable me to hit quite level to the angle of attack, or even slightly up on it. So it's really important, if you can, try and get your fit in with your driver, try and get a Trackman, try and get a coach to help you with that, because that's really going to sort of help you maximise your distance. We talked a little bit about tee height there, and I think that's really an individual thing. You saw the launch angle came down with that low tee, so I wouldn't recommend that to me. I like to use sort of the pink height, which is, I use a wooden tee, but that pink height seems to be pretty comfortable for me. If I was trying to hit this ball as far as I could, I'd probably use the orange tee. I'd probably play the ball further forward, and I would probably try and hit up on it a little bit more to get more distance. But when I'm out on the golf course, I need a combination of accuracy and distance. So golfers, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions on that, post them in the box below. I'll try and get back to you. If you can, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done already, and if you don't, follow me on my other social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram and Twitter.